The moment you look at the DJI Avatar 360, one thing becomes obvious. DJI isn't just entering the 360 drone space, it's attacking it aggressively. With a starting price around $499 for the base drone and roughly $900 to $1,100 for full bundles, it undercuts the competition in a way that feels almost unfair. Meanwhile, the Antigravity A1 sits in a completely different price league, starting at around $1,599 and going up to $2,000 plus depending on the bundle. That price gap alone sets the tone, and instantly positions the Avatar 360 as a serious Antigravity A1 killer in this segment. But this drone isn't just about being cheaper, it's about changing how you shoot. Designed for travel films, action content, and cinematic fly-throughs, the Avatar 360 is built with creators in mind first, not hardcore FPV racers. The biggest highlight is its 360 mode, powered by a unique front-facing lens that transforms into a dual camera system. Once you launch it correctly, the drone automatically switches into 360 capture mid-air, unlocking a completely different shooting experience. And here's where it gets wild. One flight doesn't give you one shot, it gives you everything. Cinematic angles, fast-paced action views, vertical social clips, all pulled from a single take. You can reframe, keyframe, and redesign your footage in post like never before. It genuinely feels like cheating, especially if you've ever struggled to nail the perfect angle in one go. Of course, there's a small trade-off. Like all 360 cameras, there's a slight dip in image quality compared to standard single-lens shooting, but the flexibility you gain completely outweighs that. And if you want, you can still switch back to single-lens mode for more traditional shots. Durability is another area where the Avatar 360 quietly dominates. It has already proven itself in real-world conditions, handling saltwater exposure, rain, and humid environments without breaking a sweat. That's huge for travel creators. The only thing you need to watch is water droplets on the lens, since they can show up in 360 footage. Otherwise, it delivers that solid, confidence-inspiring DJI build quality. Transmission performance is exactly what you'd expect. Strong, stable, and reliable even in challenging environments like forests or behind obstacles. It just works, which lets you focus on creating instead of worrying about signal drops. The design also stands out. It's smaller in footprint than the original Avatar, but slightly taller, giving it a unique presence. It feels premium in hand, not like a toy. And while it shares some visual DNA with the Avatar 2, this is clearly a different kind of machine built for a different purpose. Camera-wise, the larger modules hint at serious upgrades, and while full specs are coming in the detailed review on March 26th, it's already clear DJI is pushing imaging forward. Add to that front and bottom obstacle sensors, and you get a safer, more confidence-inspiring flying experience. One of the smartest features is the replaceable lens system. Minor crashes resulted in scratches, but nothing that affected footage, and no urgent need to replace anything. That's a massive advantage in the 360 drone world. Flying it is smooth, immersive, and surprisingly easy. Whether you're using goggles, motion controls, or a traditional controller, the experience is less about aggressive flying and more about creativity. That's the real focus here. At the end of the day, the DJI Avata 360 isn't just competing with the Antigravity A1, it's disrupting the entire category. It delivers a similar creative experience at nearly half the price, while introducing a smarter, more flexible way to shoot. And if these early impressions hold true, DJI may have just created the most accessible and most dangerous 360 drone for the competition right now. I chose the DJI Avata 360 because it feels like the perfect balance between innovation, performance, and value in the current drone market. What really stands out is its ability to capture true 360-degree footage, which means I don't have to worry about framing the shot while flying. I can simply focus on the flight and later reframe everything in post-production. That alone changes how I approach content creation, especially for cinematic shots and travel videos. Another big reason is the expected high-end camera capability. Leaks suggest up to 6K or even 8K panoramic video with a larger sensor, which is a huge upgrade compared to traditional FPV drones. This gives me more flexibility in editing and ensures better image quality, even when cropping or zooming into shots. Safety and design also played a major role in my choice. The Avata 360 keeps the Cinewhoop-style body with built-in propeller guards, making it safer to fly in tight spaces or indoors. For someone who likes dynamic, close-range shots, that's a big advantage. Finally, the pricing makes it even more attractive. With a rumored starting price around $400 to $500, it offers features that usually belong to much more expensive drones. Compared to competitors, it feels like you're getting flagship-level capabilities without paying a premium. Overall, I chose the DJI Avata 360 because it simplifies shooting, pushes creative possibilities, and delivers strong performance at a surprisingly reasonable price. The Antigravity A1 drone is one of the most unique drones released in recent years, and honestly, it feels like a glimpse into the future of content creation. But that doesn't automatically make it the best choice, especially now that the DJI Avata 360 has entered the same space and changed the game completely. Let's start with the Antigravity A1 itself. This drone launched with a starting price of around $1,599, going all the way up to about $1,999 depending on bundles. That already puts it in the premium category, and there's no denying it feels like a premium product. The biggest highlight is its 8K 360-degree camera, which lets you capture everything around you and decide the angle later. This is a huge advantage for creators, especially travel vloggers and cinematic FPV shooters, because you don't have to worry about framing while flying. Using it feels very different compared to traditional drones. Instead of complex controls, it focuses on simplicity with motion controllers and goggles. That means beginners can get cinematic shots without mastering manual FPV flying. The footage flexibility is also insane. You can reframe shots after recording and create multiple angles from a single flight. That's something most drones simply can't do. But here's the reality check. The A1 is not perfect. First, the price is high, very high for what is still a first-generation product. Even reviewers point out that it's a niche drone and not ideal for everyone. The motion control system, while easy, limits precision, so experienced pilots might feel restricted. Also, you usually need a spotter when using goggles, which makes solo shooting less convenient. Another downside is that while the 360 capture is impressive, it's not always practical for professional workflows. If you want precise framing or traditional cinematic control, this drone can actually slow you down instead of helping. Now let's talk about the real problem for the A1, the DJI Avata 360. DJI came in with a completely different strategy: aggressive pricing. The Avata 360 is expected to start as low as $400 to $500 for the drone, with full combo bundles around $800 to $1,200, which is dramatically cheaper than the A1. Even in some regions, entry pricing is far lower than Antigravity's offering. That changes everything. While the A1 tries to redefine drone shooting with 360 capture, DJI focuses on balance. You still get immersive FPV flying, likely solid stabilization, better ecosystem support, and more traditional control options. DJI drones are also known for reliability, software optimization, and consistent performance, areas where new brands often struggle. In terms of specs, the A1 actually has some advantages on paper. It offers longer flight time and extended transmission range in some comparisons. But specs don't tell the full story. DJI's real strength is how well everything works together in real-world use, not just numbers. So which one is better? If you care about pure innovation and creative freedom, the Antigravity A1 is still unmatched. It's basically a flying 360 camera that gives you insane flexibility in editing and storytelling. For YouTubers, travel filmmakers, and experimental creators, it can unlock shots you simply can't get with normal drones. But if you care about value, reliability, and overall usability, the DJI Avata 360 is the smarter choice. It gives you most of the experience at a much lower price, and likely with fewer compromises. For most users, especially beginners or even semi-pro creators, the Avata 360 makes more sense financially and practically. Here's the honest truth. The Antigravity A1 feels like a first-gen innovation, while the DJI Avata 360 feels like a refined, mass-market product. So is the A1 worth it? Yes, but only if you specifically want 360 content creation and don't mind paying premium for it. For everyone else, the Avata 360 is simply the better deal.